G of G Inc. built its name on human connection. After 17 years, that's still the whole point. Picture a brand activation in a busy convention center. The client has spent months developing the concept, the signage is perfect, and the product samples are lined up. But the staff standing at the booth? They don't know the product, don't read the room, and by noon the energy has flatlined. The brand spent a fortune on the experience and got a forgettable afternoon. Jennifer Hing has watched that scenario play out more times than she can count. It's exactly the problem that led her to build G of G Inc. from a small referral network in Toronto into one of the most trusted event staffing agencies in North America, with offices now operating in Toronto, New York, and San Diego. The company turns 17 this year. That alone is worth noting. But what makes G of G Inc. worth paying attention to is not its age. It's the discipline behind it. How Jennifer Hing turned a side network into G of G Inc. Jennifer grew up in Pickering, Ontario, a suburb east of Toronto where ambition doesn't always have a clear runway. She enrolled at the University of Toronto and completed a dual degree program while managing modeling commitments on the side. By the time she graduated, she had already spent years working in the staffing and promotional marketing industry, and she had started to see a gap. When Jennifer founded the company in 2009, she was working at another staffing agency in a related marketing space, the company explained. At the same time, she was receiving frequent requests from freelance professionals and brands looking for event staffing support. Balancing those requests with a full-time job wasn't sustainable. So she started quietly connecting trusted colleagues with the opportunities she couldn't take herself. That informal network grew fast. After a year of running both tracks, Jennifer gave herself 2 years to prove the concept. G of G Inc. was officially incorporated in January 2009, and within its first month it had assembled a roster of more than 100 promotional representatives and models across Canada. The 2-year test she set for herself? She passed it. Then she kept going. Why G of G Inc. keeps its office team small on purpose? The agency's internal team is intentionally lean. That's not a limitation. It's a strategy. Because our office team is intentionally small and relationship-focused, our clients receive a level of attention and accessibility that can be difficult to find with larger agencies, the company noted. Clients can reach a real person who knows their program, not a rotating account manager who has to relearn the brief every time. Megan Rogers is a good example of what that culture produces. She started with G of G Inc. in 2012 as a brand ambassador while earning degrees in business administration and marketing at Brock University. After graduating, she joined the Toronto corporate staff full-time. Her years working events before taking a desk role gave her something most agency staffers don't have: genuine field experience. That combination, knowing what a client needs and knowing what it actually feels like to stand on a trade show floor for 8 hours, shapes how G of G Inc. builds and trains its teams. The company's staffing reach now spans the full range of event needs, including brand ambassadors and team leads, photographers, DJs, and hair and makeup artists, production assistants and event support staff, single in-store demos up to cross-country tours. Industries served include food and beverage, tech, automotive, and a long list of others. The scope is wide. The approach is specific to each client. The pivot that proved the model: the event marketing industry took a direct hit when the COVID-19 pandemic shut down in-person gatherings in 2020. For an agency built entirely around live events, that could have been the end. G of G Inc. adapted. The company expanded into secret shopping, mystery shopping, and merchandising, creating new ways to keep its contractor network earning and its client relationships intact. This ability to pivot allowed us to continue providing value during an uncertain time, the company reflected, while also helping ensure opportunities remained available for our brand ambassadors and independent contractors. Coming out of that period, the agency emerged more flexible and, if anything, more trusted. Clients who had watched G Inc. problems solve through an industry-wide crisis had concrete evidence of what the company could do under pressure. That resilience didn't come from a contingency plan written in a boardroom. It came from relationships built over more than a decade, with clients who communicated honestly and contractors who trusted the process. What Jennifer Hing actually measured success at G Inc. is not defined by a single metric. It's defined by whatever the client needs it to be. Reporting tools range from post-event analytics and comprehensive summaries to real-time updates from on-site team leads. Social media engagement, hashtag tracking, attendee interaction counts, and survey response data can all be built into a program. For clients without a reporting structure already in place, the G Inc. team works with them to identify what to track and how to capture it. The company is currently supporting several programs connected to FIFA, and the reporting requirements vary from client to client. Some prefer real-time updates as surveys are completed during shifts, the company explained, while others need detailed post-event reports outlining key insights and outcomes. Flexibility in measurement reflects a broader truth about how G Inc. operates. The agency shapes itself around the client, not the other way around. The industry G Inc. is growing into the event marketing calendar has shifted. Historically, summer months drove the busiest season. But G Inc. has tracked a meaningful move, with demand intensifying in September and October as brands push toward Q4 activations. Recognizing that shift early has allowed the company to plan talent availability more precisely and avoid the gaps that leave clients scrambling. Upcoming large-scale global moments, including FIFA events and the LA Olympic Games, represent significant opportunities for G Inc. and the contractors in its network. But the company's leadership sees a longer trend underneath those specific events: a growing segment of the workforce choosing brand ambassador work as a full-time freelance career. That shift matters. It changes the caliber and commitment level of available talent, and it's something G Inc. is positioned to benefit from. The company has spent years building a reputation among independent contractors as a reliable, fair partner, which means its roster draws from professionals who take the work seriously. The company's growth has also been driven almost entirely by word of mouth and referrals rather than traditional advertising. That's a long-term bet on doing the job well enough that clients do the talking. So far, the bet is paying off. Some of the milestones that mark the company's 17-year track record. 1. Launched in January 2009 with a 100-plus person network assembled within the first month. 2. Expanded from a Toronto-only operation to offices in New York and San Diego. 3. Survived and grew through the pandemic by diversifying into adjacent service lines. 4. Built long-term client relationships across Fortune 500 companies and early-stage startups alike. 5. Regularly attends the Event Marketer Summit to track industry shifts and client needs. After nearly 2 decades, Jennifer Hing's original instinct still drives the company. That the right person in the right role at a live event can do something no amount of digital spend quite replicates. It creates a moment between a brand and a real human being that stays. The strongest campaigns combine innovation with authentic connections that build long-term loyalty and trust, the company said. And that, more than any title or milestone, is the standard G Inc. holds itself to every time a team hits the floor.